Welcome to Everything Sparkle. We got a great lineup today. We are starting off with Marilyn Elizabeth. Hello, girl.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
You look so beautiful today.
And so do you.
Thank you.
We have good contrast going on.
We didn't even plan it.
I know.
Okay, so tell me, you're the social media guru, which I need help with because I don't know what I'm doing with social media ever.
Yeah.
So explain exactly what it is. People come to you and be like, hey, get me my Facebook and my Instagram or...
So I work with businesses
Okay.
typically, sometimes individuals like yourself. And so, a lot of them come to me and go, social media, I know I have to have it. It's a pain in the butt. I need your help. So then
Okay.
I come in and I go, okay, I look at, what's going on? What are your goals? So we can take your social media to wherever your goals may be. Let's look at what you're doing. Let's get it up to speed. Let's make it aesthetically pleasing. So, your target market hops on and goes, ooh, that's a business, that's a person that I want to work with.
Right.
And social media is so powerful nowadays because that's where you're going to see a lot of ROI if you utilize your social media correctly.
Okay, so do people come with anything and you just set them up, or you're already starting them from like the ground up?
It depends. I mean, I get a lot that have something they've started, and it's very infrequent that they're posting maybe once a day. Or, I'm sorry, not once a day, once a week. Once a day is great. If you're posting once a day, that's good. Once a week, and it's infrequent. Sometimes we have to start it from the ground up. That's a little bit harder, but obviously it's doable. So you get either or.
Oh, okay. So how long have you been doing this?
So let's see. I started doing this probably about 6 years ago, but I broke off and started my own business 2 years ago. So I just celebrated 2 years actually last week.
Oh, that's really lovely. So how do people
Yeah.
find out about you and say, like, help me with my social media? Because you do everything.
Everyone tells me that. They're just like, you do everything. I'm like, I do what I have a passion, for. I have a lot of passions, and so social media is one of them. Let's see, they find me sometimes through my Instagram and my business
Through your
Instagram.
social media,
Through
which
my
is funny
social
because
media.
they're not good at it.
Yeah, no, so they're figuring it out. I figured it out, and so I got a lot of clients finding me through my social media, referrals, a lot of great connections. I have clients here in the Central Valley, and then I have some in the Bay Area, and I have some all over the state actually, which is pretty wild, and they've found me through my social media.
So you travel outside of town to go meet with them?
I do. So Bay Area is back and forth all the time. I get
Wow.
it. I get it a lot of times. They're like, "Hey, where do you live? Both places?" I'm like, I do. Yeah, because I'm there so much.
Right. And so do you also organize events? Because I met you at an event
Yeah.
where, did you put that together? Because they had booths, they had a lot of different things going on. They had the food. What exactly were you in charge of organizing with that event?
Yeah, so a lot of the clients I work with, part of the strategy is sometimes we need to plan strategic marketing events to get people to come to your business. Social media is great, but sometimes it's a multi-approach to really, getting your target market there. So events is one of those things that takes a lot of work, but we're really good at doing it. I have a really great team, so we put together events, and I remember I met you there.
We won't say what that event was
I
because
know.
you keep on laughing about,
Because I remember going up to you and saying what I said to you, and you're like, oh, great, I'm glad you remember me for that. But yeah, so we do events. I actually have one in Laguna Beach coming up in a few months, and then I have one in the Bay Area as well. So I'm really excited for those because those are obviously I'm getting to travel. Then we're going to go to Valencia near LA.
Nice.
So yeah, events are taking us all over the place.
So how much do you charge for your services? Is it based on how big the business is or how much work you do? What's like a ballpark figure if somebody with a small business startup wants to hire you?
Yeah, so that's always a difficult question because I take a personal approach to every single client. I don't have, I would say, like a standard set of different packages. So I talk to the client. I go, what are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? Some of them are small, and I have a big passion for small businesses. I'm a small business myself. So I try and work out something where, they can grow, they can see the ROI and be happy, with the price. I typically, would never go lower than like $850 a month, sometimes $500 if we're posting, a few times and doing some consulting. It just depends because social media, we're really good at it, and I know you're going to see the ROI. And it takes so much work. We're on there.
What does
all the
ROI
time.
stand
I'm
for?
sorry.
For you?
Return on investment.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
So return on investment. So, if you're doing social media correctly, it's a 24/7 job. You can't, I always tell, my clients, you do what you do best and we will do what we do best. Because if you're trying to do it all, that's when you're going to be unhappy with your results.
Well, should that be the plug? I'll tell everybody on Instagram tonight where I met you. And I don't have a picture of that. If there's a picture, I will actually put a picture of it.
Actually, I think I can get a picture.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's what we'll do. That's
Yeah.
that's our plug. On Instagram, we'll show you a picture. It was something I was like, I guess kind of modeling for, but it's pretty embarrassing. So yeah, that's the plug to go to my social media tonight. Like we'll post it. Whenever I get it tonight, we'll just like, yeah, on Instagram.
I'm gonna get it for you.
Oh
today.
my gosh, now the pressure's on. So, but people better like start like, subscribing or whatever,
Yes.
how that works.
Yeah. Start subscribing. It's a great picture. I love it. So,
What's the best outlet? Is it Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook? What do you think is the best one?
Ooh, so Twitter, I think, is only for celebrities. I am not a big fan of Twitter. I think if you're a big company, like Geico,
Okay.
Enterprise,
That's good to
use
know.
Twitter all the time. But I think if you're a celebrity, if you're a personality, you might be great on Twitter. You're funny. So I think you'd be awesome on Twitter. But I would say Instagram, Facebook's really where it is right now. Instagram obviously is going to be the bigger push. Facebook, I would say it would come close second.
Wow, and what about Snapchat? Is that just for kids or?
It's one of those things where it's just a preference. A business, I think it takes a certain type of business to be on Snapchat. There's certain ones I'd be like, why would you be on Snapchat? There's nothing you can produce content-wise to really be that interesting, for someone to follow. So I don't usually recommend Snapchat. I do think it's for kids. I only use it for, fun. So not business purposes. Instagram, stories now is really all you need if you think about it.
Right. So what's the difference, because you do PR marketing and your social media group, is that separate or is that combined?
So, marketing encompasses everything. And so we do everything under the sun, but I always like to say we specialize in social media and PR. And PR is earning media, through doing strategic events and writing press releases, anything interesting in the company. We just did an event this past weekend with one of my clients, and all the proceeds went to the animal compassion team.
That's so lovely.
And it was with Beyond Pilates. They're a franchise Pilates studio.
Oh, yeah,
and the owner has I think she's actually been here. She's had a huge passion for animals her entire life. She loves rescuing dogs. So she said, we need to do something for them. And so, we contact the news, and then we have the news come out, and we get them on the news, leading up to the event. So that's all PR. That's earned media by doing something good. And, the news is aware of that, and they bring you on, and they want to cover a story.
So what if someone just wanted to hire you for an event? Could you charge for that? What if someone like, I don't want to be on a retainer with you, I just want to do one event. What do you do in that circumstance?
Yeah, no, I did one of those for Easy Fit Meals. So, they had their grand opening, and we just did a project basis and, crushed
I
the
love
grand
Chris.
opening. Yeah, Chris
Well,
is
you
great.
guys should have had me over there then. So where was
I
that?
didn't even know you then. I know, it's too bad.
Oh, yeah, I've only been around for a couple of years in the Central Valley, and I think I met Chris a year ago. So I don't know when you guys did
It was
that.
probably like a year and a half.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so projects are always, we can always do that as well. Whatever works for the client. Like I said, I always like to be very personal with my clients. I'm so passionate about helping people, and that's I think the number one thing. I get so excited if we can help you, as a business owner, achieve whatever goals that you want to achieve.
Well, like for example, I'm helping my friend put on a movie premiere, and he's kind of clueless about it. Do you do stuff like that as well?
Oh boy, movie premiere. Yeah. So that would be a huge social media push, I would think, because that's where most people that like to see movies and go to movie theaters, they're all on social. So
have you done a movie premiere before?
I've attended one.
Yeah, but you haven't put one on yet.
I have not put one on yet.
I might get you your next project.
Well, there we go. I actually went to the Gallows, though. Did you ever hear about that movie?
I heard about that. Was before I moved here, but that must have been fun, huh?
It was, and Kathy Lee Gifford's daughter was the star.
Did she come here?
Yeah, so I was hanging out with her and all of the cast.
Who else came that we would know about?
Gosh, to be honest, I think that was probably that was the biggest one, the claim to fame right there.
Who directed that?
It was Tremendum in town.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're a great production company,
and you act yourself. I don't know if we have that commercial because you were in
Chuck Chansey.
I didn't want to say the wrong casino.
Everyone comes up to me, they go, "You're the girl in Chuck."
If we could get that commercial up, it's on your Facebook, right?
It is. It's on my Facebook.
Michael, can we get that commercial up? Because it just makes me, every time I see it, I get happy because you're so happy. It almost makes me want to go to Chansey. I don't.
Yeah, no, that was a fun night. It was a long night. We were there for I think like 8 hours, and everyone goes, "Oh my gosh, you brought all your girlfriends there. You guys had so much fun." And well, I knew like maybe 2 of the girls, but the rest of them, that's the whole point of it. You're acting like you have a great time with your girlfriends, and
Did
we
you
did have a
even
good
gamble
time.
while you were there?
No, we did not. We didn't have time. It was just shooting and then going to the next spot and shooting. So there was just no downtime.
Yeah, no, you guys do look like you were having a really good time. That was like the best commercial ever.
The funniest part of it was, a lot of it was dancing, and we literally had like no music, so you're dancing to your own beat, and it was it was very awkward at the time. Everyone's just like, okay, you do what you think is right in your head and just start dancing. But in the commercial, it looked good.
I don't know if we have that or not. What about that other movie you did with that, just like a year ago, with that one celebrity that came to town?
Lou Diamond Phillips?
Yes.
Okay, so
tell me about that one.
So that one actually was a client of mine. So he's the largest burial insurance company in the United States.
What?
Yeah, burial insurance. Who would have thought?
Knew that.
So there's life insurance and burial insurance. So he came to me with the task, we need an endorser for our company. And so, we were tossing around a lot of different ideas. Originally, we wanted Eric Estrada, but he said he didn't feel old enough yet. So we said, fine. We find Lou Diamond Phillips.
So he was old enough? I hope he's
he felt like he would fit the part, and he totally did. So we flew him in from LA, and we filmed at a graveyard. We put together this great commercial, and I didn't necessarily act with him, but I was his right-hand woman the entire time.
Oh, it was a commercial. I thought it was a movie. See, I knew about it because of all that good PR marketing.
Exactly, the good PR. So we got it all over the news, all over newspapers. And that's what really stirred up some excitement.
That's awesome. Has anybody ever been disappointed? I don't know why they would. I mean, does anyone ever think something was like I don't have enough Instagram followers. What are you doing? Do people ever say that, or do people say, I want more, like give me more? Like, how do you about that?
A lot of the times people will look at their social media and say, I don't have enough followers. And I go, okay, but followers isn't always the answer. You can have 1 million followers, and then you see 100 likes a post, and you're thinking, what the heck's going on? And it's because of their fake followers. So, yeah, if you want to buy some followers, go for it. But that's not going to help your business. It's going to be, relating to those followers that you do have and creating that engagement, that core engagement with, say you have 500 great followers. That's going to be better than 2,000 followers that don't engage with any of your content.
That's true. That's really interesting to think about it. So most likely it's a success rate unless someone's looking for that. You tell them right off when you hire them, like, I'm going to help you with this, and then, well, you seem successful. I see you all around town promoting something. Like,
honestly, I'm so busy. Like this morning I think it was a 3-hour meeting, and I have one client. I'm sure a lot of people have clients where sometimes they love to talk, and it's great. It's a great conversation. We get a lot done, but I'm just thinking, okay, well, now I've got to work till midnight. But that's just what you do as a business owner, until you get to that point. But that's just, that's what you do. And I'm always busy, which is great. I'm very blessed, that I am busy, because there's a lot of people that may not, be in the position that I'm in. I'm just a hard worker, and I know what I want to achieve in life. So I just put my nose to the ground and start running.
And it's got to feel great when you get people like those little companies or like what they need, and they're like, yay, you feel good like you're helping somebody, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, getting a client is awesome, because it's like, oh my gosh, they believe in you. And, I always love pairing with clients, obviously, that I believe in. And I have a huge passion for health and wellness. I actually got a degree in nutrition as well. And so I love helping out any, health and wellness focused businesses, because that's always comes back to like my passion, for health and wellness.
Well, you're the epitome of health. I see you at the gym every morning.
I try. Honestly, though, from starting a business, I have been slacking in the gym, and it's terrible. And I ask other people, who own a business, I go, I don't make it to the gym very often anymore. It's like maybe 3 to 4 times a week, and I don't want to say that out loud. I used to be a 7-day-a-weeker, 2 hours a day. Like, I was on top of it. But now
that's like, you see, now I wish I had pictures of you from the gym, like videos of that. That'd be more exciting than the Chancey commercial, because this girl's not a slacker at the gym.
Well, I know I got to be in and out of there.
Yeah, you don't waste time.
I don't waste
time. But I did
time.
see people talking to you, and I was thinking, oh my, you were being so nice at talking to them while you were lifting, and I was like, I wouldn't have been like that. The whole time I was like, oh my God, you were talking and lifting. So
See, ladies, that is key. If people want to talk to you, men want to talk to you, you just keep working out and you just talk at the same time, or else your workout's ruined. If you
That's
don't do
a great idea of multitasking. That's what you could say. See, I wish I could put that video and say to all your clients, hey, she's not gonna let anything slow her. She will get the job done as she's like.
I'm talking on the phone, lifting, also trying to entertain whoever's next to me.
That was entertaining for me to watch. Michael, do we not have that video that you're chancing?
It was the latest one.
Oh, yay!
So that was okay. So this one was my first speaking part.
Ooh.
This was my second video, or I think my second commercial I did with them. But we do have a more recent one where we're dancing.
I'm sorry, this one I get excited when I see these. I mean,
they're so fun.
You're so good at it too.
Oh, thank you. I have a calling for casino commercials.
Well, I guess that's better than my calling, which I will post on Instagram later, how we met, what I was modeling for her.
It probably wasn't the best way to lead into a conversation with you. I'm very blunt. That's maybe one of my downfalls. I'm very honest.
Oh, me too. That's why we get along so well.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Michael can find it. It's a fun
if not, we're gonna play it at the end. We just have to, just for my entertainment, if anything.
Yeah. No, definitely.
You should have worn this dress for the commercial. I think it's so beautiful. I love it.
Thank you. I got it after the commercial, so maybe the next one I do, I can say, let's wear the cheetah. Let's do the cheetah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Marilyn. Is there anything that we should watch out for? Is there anybody that you want to plug that has a business that you think we should? You don't need to go through the whole itinerary of everything, but just is there anything that we should watch out? Is there anything new coming to town that we should be like, hey, let's look for this?
Gosh, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I'm really excited for one of my clients, the Great American Barbershop. He's a franchise now, and so he's just sold, we sold Laguna Beach. We have more spots opening in Fresno and Visalia and Valencia. So and I'm part of, the beginning of that, and so it's been very exciting growing his franchise. And
wow, that is exciting.
Yeah, and establishing a brand for himself. He's a great guy, so that's really awesome. Other than that, a lot of my events are out of town, so I can't say that anything too exciting is happening. I'm going on a private jet next week with one of my clients for a day, so that's really exciting.
I'm in the wrong
excited
business.
for that. Always doing something.
Oh my, that sounds super. Is this the first time that you've done this with this job, the private jet, with a client?
Yes. No, this is the first time doing a private jet with a client. Actually, my first airplane experience was on a private jet. One of my best friends had a private jet, took us to Hawaii for a few days when I was 13 years old. So that's where...
What? See, I got to hang out with you more often, Marilyn.
So I got my jet life experience at 13. But yeah, no, this is the second time I'll be on a private jet, and I'm excited. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Oh my gosh. Well, now we all got to follow you. I'm going to follow you just so I could see the private jet pictures.
Yes. Yeah.
Just sipping the champagne hey, this is
I'm going to cheers to you. To sparkle.
Okay, Marilyn, thank you so much. Hopefully we find that commercial.
Welcome.
We'll play it at the end. But
yes.
Thank you so much. We'll have to have you back, too.
Yeah, no, definitely.
At Chakchansi Gold Resort and Casino, we don't just have fun, we win. Best local casino, best buffet, best Italian, plus award-winning fine dining. Chakchansi Gold Resort and Casino. What do you do for fun?
Hi, guys. We are back with is it IBFF Pro? Is that what it is?
No, IFBB.
IFBB.
International Federation of Bodybuilding Professional.
I never get that right. That's way too many letters. They need to condense it to just...
Well, if you're an amateur, then you only have 3 letters.
So you want to get the
Committee.
extra letter. It's like a medal. Maybe they'll change it to the Gary, because you're going to be so, you can start the next award that people get.
Maybe.
Okay, so Gary, how long have you been doing this, and how long did it take to get to the pro status?
Well,
the IFBB Pro.
I've been training my entire life. Even in high school, I was lifting weights and training in martial arts, and I've always did some kind of competitive, individual sport, from powerlifting to kickboxing to taekwondo, and because of injuries, I wasn't able to pursue or continue those other sports. So even though my last sport before competitive bodybuilding, I was a professional, or not a professional, but an amateur powerlifter. I would travel to Reno, to Vegas, and compete in strength training or strength competitions, bench press, push pull, things like that. So after an injury, which I tore my labrum, I couldn't lift that enormous weight anymore. So then I started focusing more on aesthetics instead of strength.
Awesome. And you look great, by the way.
Thank you.
Tell us about you have a competition Saturday?
Yes, Saturday I'm going to be competing at the Los Angeles Grand Prix. It's in Culver City. It's a professional event. It's an international event, so there's going to be competitors coming from everywhere. I think I looked at the lineup, and there's probably about four or five competitors coming from Brazil, from Thailand, from Trinidad, from Canada, and all over the States. It's an Olympia qualifier, so whoever wins this show gets qualified to compete at the Olympia, which is the most prestigious show there is.
Wow. How exciting. So how many medals exactly have you won? How many?
Well, although I'm a professional, I really haven't had that many competitions in bodybuilding. I won almost every show I did as an amateur, and then when I went to, except for the national shows, it took me 3 tries at the national level to become a pro, and that's a different level. I mean, you're looking at the professional level, you're looking at some of the most aesthetic physiques in the world. Like I said, they're coming from everywhere, from Brazil, from all parts of the world to compete. So it's a little harder, especially at my age. I'm 54. In a couple months, I'll be 55.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm going to be on stage. I'm going to be on stage with men that are 20 and 30 years younger than me. So, and that's basically, I compete because I enjoy competing, but I also do transformations and prep coaching, and that's one of the things that I like to show people. Look, if I can do it at my age, imagine what we could do with you, with a younger man, in their 20s, in their 30s, in even 40s and 50s, in 60s even. The last chapter of your life has not been written. We can rewrite it by having you set some goals and achieve. So I'm all about success. You know what I mean? I'm very passionate. I'm very, inspired. I will motivate you. I'm not a personal trainer. I'm a coach. Okay. And I believe that if you're a coach or if you're a personal trainer, you should look the part, right?
Right.
Right. So
you definitely look the part.
Yeah, thank you.
How old were you when you became pro?
I became pro at 49. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that a little discouraging, keeping on going and competition after competition, losing those first few, and then to be like, well, at what point were you going to be like, maybe I could just throw in the towel? Was it like third time's a charm? Did you have a goal set in your head, or you just went for it?
Well, I knew I was going to be successful. I believe that, right? Mm-hmm. People say that if they see it, they'll believe it. But my philosophy is, if you don't believe it, you'll never see it. Right. So I believe it. I believe that I was able to win, and with every competition, regardless of which place I got, I learned, and I was a winner. In my mind, I'm a winner because I was able to get my body from point A to point B and look phenomenal and look great and be at at high level stage. So, yeah.
That's amazing. So you coached your daughter?
I coached my daughter, yeah. She wanted to compete, and I tried to talk her out of it because, it's honestly, it's not easy. It's not easy.
And it can be a lot on the body.
It's hard.
Oh my gosh, I love this picture. That is so impressive.
Yeah. I tried to talk her out of it because I thought maybe, I wanted her to be a little bit more mature. She was 19 when she came to me and asked me to train her for a competition. And I thought, well, let's train for a couple more years. But she was, no, Dad, I want to do it. And I said, okay. So what I do as a coach is I provide what I call a blueprint, okay? And it's usually around 12 weeks. It takes me 12 weeks, maybe 14 weeks to really do a good transformation. And everything's in stages, 3 stages. So about every month, every 4 weeks, I'll change the exercise routine, the cardio routine. The diet kind of stays the same. I kind of get it dialed in at the beginning so that we don't have to make much changes. With her, I did have to make, a couple changes.
Was she happy about that?
Well, she wanted to win because if your mindset is that, I want to succeed, then you will succeed. People that are successful do whatever it takes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So how did she do in that competition?
She won. Her very first show,
Yay!
She won.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh, you must have been prideful about that.
I couldn't believe that was my daughter up there, especially, I work with her on posing, but, I couldn't believe after with the tan and all the, the bikini and the heels and their hair made up and everything. I was like, wow, look at that.
Is it hard because she was so cute? She goes from being cute to being really sexy. I was like, father was that oh my God, guys don't look at her, but then they have to because she's posing.
Yeah, that's hard, but we just keep it professional. You know what I mean? Everything is
you understand the business. So
I understand the business,
that.
and I coach her not just in the physical, but the mental part of it. You know what I mean? Don't fall for fake photographers or for people that are maybe predators or you know what I mean.
You made sure she was around the like-minded people and that.
Right. Yeah. And she had me there to help her too.
With you right there, no one's gonna mess with her. Oh my gosh. So it's a family affair.
It is. I've taught her a lot, and she could probably, do some coaching on her own. But, she's focusing on her education at Fresno State.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So,
what is she majoring in?
Well, she wants to be a school teacher. Yeah. So, and she already has a job as a teacher's aide. So yeah, that's her passion right now. And that's another thing that I told her. I said that I wanted her to put off because I wanted her education to be priority before competitions. You can compete. You're young. You can just work on your body, go to the gym, and then start competing, in a couple of years. But, she's stubborn like me, so she said, I'm going to do it. And, well, then after that, I had to support her.
So Saturday, after this big competition, what's going to be your meal? What's the big...
Well, honestly, I don't really deprive myself of too much. I mean...
come on. You got to have a shake or after you go to the big... There's got to be something you're craving. Come on.
My favorite food is sushi, and I eat that during my prep. I mean, yeah, so...
So there's no celebratory, a drink or anything?
Right. Well, seeing that my daughter just turned 21, yeah, probably, with my wife and my daughter.
Does she want to come on? She's here. She's, we're not going to put you on the spot, but... Yeah. Okay, come on. You're just so cute. You have to come over here. Just come over by. Just tell us what it was like to have your dad coaching you.
It was really cool to have him coach me because I look up to him so much. So to have him be with me through it all was an amazing experience.
Were there some breakdown points because it was so hard?
I make myself cry in the gym sometimes because I'm pushing myself, but having support is really like the most important thing when you're competing. And so I was able to talk to him when I was having a hard time, and he made it so much like more smooth.
So was it addictive? Is it like you won? I mean, do you want to go for the next one or?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I'm addicted. Yeah, I'm planning on doing another show maybe towards the end of summer.
That is so awesome. So you're keeping your school, your grades up, and you're gonna do it all.
Mhm. Yeah.
That is so impressive.
I'm very driven, so yeah, I want to do it all.
Well, I love this. This is a great show. Are you gonna be there Saturday cheering him on?
Of course.
Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. We're gonna have to see on the next show whether or not you won and how it went, and
I'll
pictures.
have to come back. Yes, definitely.
Pictures.
I'm gonna have air horns, a sign made for him, everything.
Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh, I wish I could be there. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for crawling. I forced you to come on. Yes, you'll have to come back and tell us what's going on.
Absolutely.
How much longer are you looking to compete? Is there a...
Well, I do it because I enjoy competing, but not only that is, I like to inspire people, right? So I like to show them, okay, when I was 50, I was competing and winning. When I'm now 54, I'm almost 55,
right.
And I'm competing at the highest level. And the thing is that I believe this, that I can change anyone's physique, okay, as long as they want it. If they want it,
right.
I can do it. I use a lot of, things to make sure that, things run smoothly. Their diet. I don't just, it takes me a long time to actually figure out, what I'm going to do for this particular person. And people have injuries, so I have to, make sure that I take that, into account.
That's one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah.
I see as a personal trainer,
Right.
is the injuries. It's
right. So what I do is I first figure out their BMR. I explain to them. I give them so much information that after they complete the 12 weeks, they really don't need me anymore, because they're going to be so successful that they're not going to need me. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna figure out their BMR. I use the Harris-Benedict equation to figure out how much calories they burn. Of course, somebody that's pouring concrete or working construction is going to burn more calories than somebody that's working behind a desk.
Exactly.
So all of that takes into account, and me figuring out. Also, when people hire me for transformations, I give them access to me, so they can text me if they have questions, if they need, a lot of it is gut health, which is digestion, right? I use FODMAPs to make sure that we're using food that is not wreaking havoc on your gut. We don't want you bloated and gassy and just uncomfortable and have digestive problems. So all of that, we figured out. So
how many IFBB pros are in Fresno? Do you get a lot of competition when it comes to coaching?
Well, I don't know of any. I know Andy
of course.
Fit, yeah.
Well, that's all I know is you and her.
Right.
Is there any others?
Not that I know of, and that's I only know her because we were both sponsored by NutriShop, South Valley, at one time.
Right.
Yeah. So I knew of her. I've never met her.
Oh.
But I know of her.
She's great. She's been on the show, so.
Yeah. So
because it's such a rare league. That's what's Friday morning.
Yeah,
that's such an exciting
thing. I know that there isn't any in Hanford. Hanford is where I live.
Oh, okay.
And where I train. Yeah.
Okay, so before we let you go, I need to hear it. You were in a Chachansey commercial as well?
Yes.
This is the theme today. I didn't know I had two Chachansey.
Yeah.
So you've been doing a lot of commercial work
I've did a few. I've did not very many. I'd like to do more.
And what about movies? And you have the body for it. I mean, someone wants an Arnold, like.
Yeah, I'm trying to do some acting. I'm very interested in that, and I think it's just a matter of time before I get my break, because, like I said, just like in anything else, if you're driven, if you're disciplined is a driving force in my life. Okay, of course it has to be, right? You can't have a physique that is a single digit body fat percentage and not be disciplined, right? So it takes a lot of work. So I think if I put the same passion in trying to get more commercials in movie parts, I'm going to be successful at it, of course.
Thank you so much for coming on here. We're going to have you come back, because there's no limits with you. You keep on rising. I'm really curious to see what's next for you.
Yes. Okay. It was glad to be here. It was fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that I've seen your face somewhere all over the place. Standing there preaching you would change, but you never did, baby.
Welcome back, everybody. We have with us Nadine, our certified wellness coach. Did I say that correctly?
You did. That's exactly what I am.
Okay, so how is that different from a life coach?
All I can explain is what I focus on.
Okay, what do you focus on?
My focus is diet and fitness, eating and exercising. So in my estimation, a life coach is somebody who maybe delves more into the personal, internal, emotional, mental health kind of stuff.
Oh, so you're not going to help me with any of my emotional problems, is that correct?
No, I'm going to tell you, set them aside and eat what I tell you to eat. No, that's not it at all. If it was with you and with all clients, I would partner with you to try to help you, support you, motivate you, encourage you, educate you, and give you accountability to reaching your health goals.
Okay. So what is it you get with a client, and what's the process?
It's sitting down with them and finding out exactly what their health goal is. So some people may want to get stronger. Some people may want to stick with an exercise routine or plan that they already have going, and they can't stick with it. They just can't maintain the discipline.
Right.
They may want to lose weight. They may want to address a health issue. Maybe their doctors recently told them they're pre-diabetic, and so they need to lose some weight, take a look at what they're eating.
That's a big thing now.
Yes, it is. So it's a matter of sitting with the client, figuring out what their goals are, and then partnering with them to design a plan, to build habits that help them reach that health goal, help them get there.
Nice. So you started recently. What's the interest like so far? Has that been people with diabetes problems or people that are overweight? What's the general consensus of the interest you've developed?
So far, it's people, I think about weight in general.
That's the main one.
Yeah. My plan and my goal is to reach out more to physicians, and I'm hoping to gain more clientele that maybe are dealing with pre-diabetes issues. I'm also thinking about perimenopausal women. I'm also thinking about maybe patients of either cardiologists or oncologists.
Nice.
As they're dealing with different, particularly diet, but also general health issues, and trying to maintain health, or at least maintain a level of health that will help them move through whatever health care they're receiving.
My friend Kristen Dell, who I think is watching, she needs to contact you because she has, she's always trying to work on her diabetes, and for her birthday, we donated money to the diabetes organization for that. So, no, that's something that's really, that really fascinates me. So that's one of your focuses, is that menopause?
Perimenopause, yeah.
People with diabetes and perimenopause.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that would be.
I'm not going to say that that's you, Kristen. I don't know.
No, don't.
Wow. Okay. So that's really interesting. So can you give us any tips now? You can't because we're not your client.
No, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. For me, a tip I want to give to everybody, but I also firmly believe in this, is to eat whole foods. So it comes down to vegetables, fruits, any kinds of grains should be whole grains, something that's not processed. If you're going to eat meat, try to eat, for example, grass-fed beef, things that aren't necessarily mass-produced.
And you don't eat meat, or do you eat meat?
I eat a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have anything against meat. It's just not for me, and that's part of going through the process with the client as well, is to figure out what they connect with and what matters to them and what's important to them. So, I think about people who like sweets and people who maybe like to have a drink or two or three every once in a while. Of course, in traditional medicine, and doctors say we should try to cut down on that, and I don't disagree with that, but the real world is that we do eat that stuff, and
Right.
we do drink those things. So when working with the client, it's about taking in the whole picture of who they are,
Right.
and taking in how they really live and what their lifestyle is really like, rather than saying you should do this and you should do that and this is the way it should be and it should be that way. It's about, again, partnering with them in their real world. No matter what my world is, working with the client is about
Exactly.
what their world is.
Well, one thing I like about you is you practice what you preach. I mean, you know, I can tell her. I met her through boot camp. She's like, can kick anybody's butt. It's amazing. And I, you know, because you're always watching what you eat, and you actually, so I see you actually working and doing all these things. That's why I think this is so perfect.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Have you had any interest from men, and would you treat men kind of the same as women, or very differently?
That's a really good question. To date, no male interest, and in fact, the connections that I'm building, the interest comes from women, and it's not even that they'll be clients, but they're trying to maybe build relationships with me in order to someday get referrals to me or connect them to a practice, a physician practice. So no, I am willing to work with men. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I'm more than
don't
happy to
hold
work with
back.
men. That's not, I don't have a problem with it. It's, again, about building partnership. And if they're open to that, I definitely am.
Are you trained differently? Do I handle men differently than females, or not really?
No,
It's
not
the
at
same.
all.
Okay.
Yeah. It's about getting healthy, whatever their vision is for that, whatever their goals are. So it's pretty straightforward.
What do you want to see happen in your clients? When you started this, I know you have a passion for it. What was your number one goal?
I think for them to feel empowered, that they can reach their goals, and also to give them a sense of control, not only in whatever ideas we come up with together, or goals, or habits, or plans that we come up with, but that they can take that to the next step for themselves. It's like the gentleman who was here before me. He said that after 12 weeks, his goal kind of was to have them be able to do it on their own. That's the same thing for me. My goal is to kind of work myself out of a job where they can take on their own habits and their own skills and their own discipline and move forward in whatever that might look like. And it may not even have to do with health or fitness or diet or anything like that. It might have to do with going to bed earlier or participating in a local community event or something else. But it's about kind of moving myself out of my own job and empowering them to move forward in a variety of ways, not just their health.
And what made you decide to do this? I know you were looking into training because you're so good physically. What made you think, no, I want to do wellness over nutrition and training? Is it because it's kind of a mixture of both? What was...
Yeah,
Oh.
that's exactly
I didn't even
it.
answer my own question.
No, but that's exactly it. Actually, it was through my work with you and through the things that you taught me and the opportunities you gave me, in addition to the things that I've been practicing for many years around diet and nutrition and health and food. And literally one morning I woke up and I thought, I could be a wellness coach, because it combines all of that all together.
Well, you are one of the most knowledgeable people that I've ever worked with that, as far as health goes and nutrition. And I like as you're a little old school and a little like new age at the same time. And I really like that about, well, it's true, because people are so set in one way. I see you being like well-rounded with and trying different things.
I really believe in moderation. But for me, that's the key. So there's a lot of different diets out there. There's a lot of different exercise plans that you can do. And everybody can take on what works for them. But I think it's trying just to balance that all out, to make it all work. It's not necessarily just one path. It's figuring it out between all of it, kind of.
So how much do you charge? Are people going to pay you by the month or per time? How does that work?
It's going to vary. It's going to be a matter of sitting down again with a client, or even somebody who wants to pull together a group of people and offer a session. There might be one price for the whole session, and whether an individual's paying for the session. For example, a physician who wants to offer something to his or her patients and invites the patients to come on in, and the physician pays the one fee for everybody, or maybe charges each patient that comes in to contribute to the full fund, so that it's a smaller amount. If it's one-on-one, it's going to depend on sitting down and talking together about what the goals are. If they want to meet once a week, twice a week, once a month. It's always going to look a little bit different, and it's going to depend on the amount of time and also how we spend together, whether we sit down and meet like this, whether we do field trips, I call them, where it might be going literally grocery shopping together, where it literally might be going out to the park and utilizing some of the equipment that's out there to come up with some exercises or some ways to do stretching that's out there in the park.
Oh God, I would love for you to go grocery shopping with me.
That'd be so fun. I would love
That
to
would
do
be
it.
because I mean, you could tell people what to get, but it would be like, okay, well, what's the difference between organic? There's so many choices. That's actually a really great service.
Yeah, and even just how to guide through a grocery store, because really the healthiest places for people to shop are along the outer edges of the grocery store. If you think about it, it's produce and
I've heard of
dairy
that. I've
and
heard of that,
meat,
yeah.
And it's inside where it's a lot of mass-produced foods that are processed and laden with chemicals and additives and
Right.
stuff like that. And that's the whole food part of me is, no, go back out to the edges. Stay out in the middle.
That is so great. Well, everyone needs to hire Nadine. I mean, we have all your information, right? So everyone can know how to. Yeah, I'm gonna hire you to go grocery shopping with me. Just know
that'd be great.
that
I would
it's
love
coming.
to. That'd be so much fun with you. I would love to do that.
Thank you so much for coming on this show.
Thank you, Sparkle, for having me. I'm so glad you invited me. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll be back with a poem.
Wait, I think that I've seen your face somewhere all over the place. Standing there
I'd like to
preaching.
thank Ron from Next Level Printing, and he actually told me he likes the poems. He was one of the people that told me I need to bring it back. Aubrey Danielle's my cousin who sings a lovely song, and go to Metalmark to rock climb, indoor rock climbing. And I just went outdoor rock climbing this last week, and I've decided I am definitely an indoor rock climber. It's very scary. Okay, so here is my poem. It's not using a cuss word, but it's called "What the Do You Bring to the Table?" You think you're a god with your out-of-shape dad bod. Impress me with your job. You're not even in line for a promotion, yet you give it all your devotion. You got a kid and crazy ex, only mediocre at sex. Trust me, that's at best. Make fun because you don't understand how I can be so broken up over one man. Pathetic to love with all I got, at least he doesn't smoke pot. His stamina and liver ain't shot. You think nice guys finish last? Did you forget about your past? Multiple girls in one night, that used to be your plight. For you, I'd never fight. This man you say is broke. You think his job's a joke. Wait, now he's unemployed, so you assume he fills a void. Frustrated because he still owns my heart, even though we are apart. My friend said, slow down there, killer. Don't you know you're just a filler? The moment you saw I was unattached, tried to reach in and snatch. Told you I'd never let you in, can't love you the way I love him. You're not even a cheap thrill, just the man to foot the bill. His body was still warm when you tried to calm my storm. Unwashed sheets hanging onto his scent, but still you wouldn't relent. You knew that I was full of hurt, just can't kick him to the dirt. You, on the other hand, just a rebound. What goes around comes around. Your ex grooms your kid to hate. I'm not falling for that bait. You guys both manipulate, acting crazy when the other dates. I'm not competing for child support. Watch your ex drag you through court. I require a man's full attention, not just a simple after mention. Just thought you wanted to have fun. Didn't think you thought I was the one. Said I wanted to kill myself at his door, but still you kept coming back for more. Didn't you think suicide over him was a clue? That maybe this girl's just not into you? I'm not being mean, just being real. You keep refusing to understand how I feel. A woman needs time to grieve and definitely a little room to breathe. Next time, don't be in a rush to define a label. Ask yourself, what the do you bring to the table? Thank you, guys. See you next week.